So just to make sure I've got no fingerprints, I'm just using a tiny little bit of rose spirit. The Barco one's really nice because it smells like vanilla instead of like rose. And just quick polish, and it just means there's no fingerprints and you'll end up with a super shiny chocolate surface. Microwave your chocolate in bursts, give it a good stir between bursts. Even though it looks like not much is happening, you don't want to overheat it. You want to move it around as much as possible and just do short little bursts in the microwave each time. I just finished mixing my chocolate up. This only took a minute in the microwave and I did that in 3 20-second bursts. You can see there's still a few lumps in there. I'm just going to use the residual heat to finish melting that out. You don't want to overheat your chocolate, it will ruin it. So the less time in the microwave, the better. And just be a bit patient with it. Now with these it says to fill them up to the line. On the little mould it's got 225 written in there. So I'm just going to see, right, come on. There we go. I'm just going to see if I can get it kind of even between the two of them. And I'm just going to aim for about 225 in total. Won't be super accurate, but it's fine. I actually think 225 is too much for these. But we'll see how we go. Doesn't matter if you're a bit messy. There we go, we'll leave it at that. And grab with this, you can see with the chocolate in it, it bends the mould. So if you let it set like that, it'll go horribly wrong and it will not line up. So just make sure I've got my little bunny button in the correct spot. Yep, there we go. Pop that in and just move the chocolate around so that you more or less get evenish coverage. Do a bit more with the other side, so just move the chocolate in, spread it up, spread it around. Oh, I've got more in the head than I've got in the body on this one, but that's okay. It will flow through. See, I'm not being especially gentle with this. You don't need to be too precise because the moulds do the rest of it. You can see I've got too much on one side and not enough on the other. I'm just going to sneak a little bit more on this side. Shouldn't do this so late at night, but it's all good. Here we go. There. But the point of this is just to show you don't have to be too precise with these moulds. They will make up for a multitude of horrible mistakes. It's done. Then you put the last part on. You can see that mould is warped because of the weight of the chocolate in there. Now if I put that down, I give it a bit of a squishing, then this is the secret part, well not the secret part, the important part. You just put it up the other way and you give it a good squishing around and all of the extra little gaps just fill out and the mould now sits perfectly flat. And all of the bits that need to be filled in are filled in, and you've got a good thickness all the way around. Now the scales weren't really important, you can kind of eyeball that. That's why they've got a very faint line around it that you can follow. One of the people I know use these quite regularly actually marks that in with a permanent marker. Just going to put that in the freezer now. And into the freezer go, nice and flat again because we don't want it to warp. And close the freezer, leave it 10 minutes. Okay, so these are out of the freezer now. I'm just putting on some gloves so that I don't get fingerprints all over them. And I'm going to pop the top off. It should just lift off nice and cleanly. I was a little bit short on the time on these, I think, but hopefully they'll be set enough. And then I should just turn it over. Should just pop out. You've got the inserts in there. I've got this on some baking paper because any bits that are left over that I crack off are just going to be broken up and put back in the jug and remelted for the next one. So Just, you can be a little bit rough with the inserts on these. You don't have to be too precious about them. Just peel it out. And peel it out, and we're all good. Clean up the edges. Even then you don't have to clean up the edges too much. That's all good. That one, then this one. Go on about using the baking paper and then proceed to spread chocolate everywhere. But anyway, let's stop doing that and just focus on what I'm doing. Instead of flicking chocolate about the kitchen. There we go. Beautiful. Done. And with this little bit here, I'm just going to go grab a knife and show you very quickly. I probably don't need to do this. I can melt this off on the tray anyway, but just clean that up with a knife and it just pops off like that. And there you have your 2 bunny halves. And I'll clean up and join them. Alright, so I'm just going to, I've got my bunny shape here. I need to heat up the tray quite a lot to melt this so that it matches up. You can see there's a bit of a discrepancy there. But if I melt it down enough on the tray, it will line up well. So I'll just pop that over there and get my tray quite hot. Quite hot. Instead of risking ruining your good tray with a blowtorch, you could just put your trays in the oven. So there we go. And that is reasonably done. Oh, just pick him off. Oh no, dropped him on the back, that's okay. So that's one side. Now I'll just do the other side here. Hopefully that's hot enough. Yep, that's more like it. Done. Done. Come on, melt down nicely. Thank you. I'm still going. Yep, all good. Done, and then these will just fuse together pretty well. Just like that. Then they all line up nice. And that is my bunny all joined and connected. Just run your finger around the edge just to fill it in. You can even grab some chocolate and just, if you've got a little gap, just run the chocolate over the gap. Not very many on this because I melted it quite well. That's all good. All good. Yeah, and then I'll hit him with some colour. All done. Right, I'm just going to add some colour to it. I've got a bit of paper down for protection. Just grab a little tiny bit of gold, drop some of that in there. I'll grab a bit more. I like to do this in a bag just to try and minimise how much I end up fluffing around. And a little bit of silver, and this just helps tone the gold down that little bit. It just softens it off a bit. Done. That's Vivid Super Gold and silver. Just drop those in there. And pick this up, put them in there. I can just do this. I'm going to do the Ziploc thing. And then just sort of get him most covered. That does most of the work for me. And you just tidy it up with a brush. You can do that while it's still in there. So if you tidy it up with a brush, it sort of forces the colour onto it really, really well. forces the colour onto it really, really well. And nearly there. Take some of that excess off. You can see why I like to have the bag, because then all the excess I get to keep for the next few bunnies that I do. And just finish dusting well. Dust them really well. You can see where I've touched the bunny with gloves that have been covered with melted chocolate so that the shine doesn't stick as well as I want it to, but if I had just been a bit more careful, it would come up perfect. But I'm still pretty happy with that. That is a pretty stunning cake topper that catches the light really nicely and looks really good. So nearly there. That is my super fast bunny. So my lovely shiny bunny. And somehow I still managed to get thumbprints on it. Gee, it's because I'm too rough with these things, but still, it's enough to go on a cake or go in some cellophane. So all good. Done. So yeah, just be careful when you're doing this bit on the side that you're not dragging melted chocolate in other places around the bunny, and you'll get a much smoother finish, but still very happy with that. That gold will stay on perfect. So beautiful. Thank you, bunny.